It'll be okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Launching a little early here. Let's see. So, this is my Wednesday live stream on Thursday. Apologies. I honestly, I kind of just forgot which day it was yesterday. The week started out really busy, and I got like a day behind somewhere in my head. Coming off the Derby week for sure. So anyway, I also will apologize. I think I am conflicting with the Laravel live stream. I apologize, Leah and team. Again, kind of impromptu. I had something I wanted to work on here, which is right here sitting on my desktop. So for the few people that are joining me live or joining both streams, whatever, thank you for joining on the impromptu stream here. I really just wanted to like spend, 20 minutes. I think this is gonna be a very short stream. I don't even know how far we're gonna get. We're honestly just gonna use Claude to like make some ideas happen. So I just thought I'd hit record and, see what it looked like. Earlier today, I was actually talking to Matt Stauffer, who he sent me this a while back. In fairness, he sent me this like 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago on the commit log here. But anyway, he built a skill. Matt, he runs Titan, got a big team, got a lot of clients, the Laravel applications. So he's managing dozens and dozens, maybe even hundreds of Laravel applications, Laravel projects. And so he kind of has some internal tools to kind of help manage all of those. He's built those, especially now backed with the power of AI. And he, over the years, he's kind of hit me up. Oh, you got an API for this? You got to, he wants to automate as much of the automation as possible. Makes total sense, again, given the scale at which he manages projects. So, of course, he has a subscription to Shift to be able to run any Shift for any number of projects. And he built this little kind of private plugin. He's sharing it, but he built it mainly just kind of as a set of Titan plugins to kind of see what's going on. But this is kind of like a review skill, if you will. So he has this skill. If we go look, it's just a markdown file. Let's look at it raw. I think sometimes these are easier to look at raw. So basically, like, he kind of gives it some information, I think, again, because this is actually shared through the marketplace. But this focuses on like processing the PR that you get from Shift. So you would pass the skill an argument, of the Shift number, and it would kind of follow these steps to kind of go back and review and finalize the Shift. So let's just go look at like a Laravel Shift. I think I've got the 13 Shift still sitting out here from the other week. Yes. Okay, so this is ready to merge and be done, and I've done some manual work down here, as you can see from my dozens of commits. But basically what this skill is doing is it points it at this PR, this Shift number, and then AI is going to go in and review this. And what's really cool is that now with Laravel 13 and even older Shifts, you get these kind of summary detail, automate more with AI type things. So it's like AI is talking to AI, and they're it's all just like coming together. But really, honestly, for the amount of information that's in here, and now these curated prompts that are available, like, it does make total sense to just let AI kind of review this and take action and do some work here. There's things to do, right? All of these like warning comments, there's some things to do. Even just this informational comment, hey, the following were not bumped. Like, check these out, bump these for me. Just more guidance to AI, as we've seen in my promo videos or previous live streams. Here, hey, look, okay, you're running Livewire 3, but Livewire 4 is probably what you want to do. Here, go run this Shift. So here's what I'm thinking. This review skill is really cool, and I think it's a piece of the puzzle, but I think or piece of the pie, let's say. It's a quarter of the pie in my mind. And I think there's other parts of the pie, obviously. There's other pieces I want to address. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's probably 4 skills here. First, I think there's the analysis skill, let's call it. And this is like, it looks at your Composer JSON file, it figures out what versions of things you're running, and kind of compares that to what I would call the Shift catalog. So if we go to Laravel Shift, Shifts, it kind of compares it to like this page, so to speak. Obviously, I can write all this out in Markdown for the skill, but it would basically say, okay, hey, look at Composer, you're running Laravel 11. Okay, well, let's start with the Laravel 12 shift. And then that kind of becomes this cyclic thing, because then that Laravel 12 shift's going to say, oh, Livewire 4 or PHP Unit 12 or Pest 4 or run the Laravel 13 shift next. Like, it's going to say that at the bottom instead of like, hey, you're on this latest version. So all you really have to do with the review skill is kind of figure out what is the state of the project in terms of shift, right? So I think that's a good one. The next one is the kind of the running of a shift. So you could do this skill directly, of course. Anybody could do it if they knew what shift they wanted to run. So that's probably why it's a separate. But basically, the analyze skill would ultimately attempt to hand off to the run skill. So the run skill does just that. It basically, probably prompts you for credentials, or maybe I build some kind of endpoint that single signs you on, or an API key, something like that. I'll have to figure that part out, or we'll figure that part out on these streams. But I think there's something there in a second skill. The third skill is, of course, the one we're looking at, this review one. And then finally, I think there's a fourth skill of refactoring. And I think that gets into like the shift workbench, which is probably going to go to a weird place. So let's just go back to shift. Let's go to the very bottom, the shift workbench. So again, there's like 60 automated tasks here that you can run, to do things. This used to be a desktop application. Again, all that stuff's kind of going away. Like, you're in AI, you're in the terminal, you're in whatever, orchestrator thing, solo, whatever. Like, let's just stay in there, right? I've always tried to meet the developer where they are with Shift. Originally, that was kind of like the GitHub integration, right? But I think shifts. I think developers are in the terminal now. They're in their AI prompt now. Whatever's driving that, they're ultimately in an AI prompt. Whatever the shell around that is kind of irrelevant. But they're not necessarily going to this web page and ingesting this information this way. So I think if there was a skill, I might see more runs of the workbench. And the workbench is completely free. This isn't necessarily like, a money grab per se. I think, again, it's about meeting the developer and in an effort to continue to stay relevant, again, by making sure that you're modern, right? You're not going to stay relevant if you're not modern. And so if developers are doing things and doing skills and doing refactorings and doing upgrades in their prompt, then let's at least make it easier for those that do use Shift to stay in that prompt. That's kind of my brain dump of all of this. Now, I've never made a skill. I did review this one. It seems pretty straightforward. This one's public, so it seems like it has like some marketplace metadata that I looked around, like just saying, okay, Matt built this and here's the source and all that kind of stuff. That all makes sense. At the end of the day, the beef of it is really just this skill markdown file. Now, this is very Claude focused. I do use Claude. I do use other models as well. But I think for now, we'll just kind of mirror it off of Claude, and then I'll look into like, how do I make sure that skill is compatible with other things in like a seamless, comfortable way. Because I know I saw some stuff recently where like Claude's sticking to their .claude instead of generically .ai or whatever. So I'll need to address that down the road. But I think today what I would like to do is jump into what I know to be an old project, and kind of have it make a skill that does a little bit of analysis, and maybe make a skill that sends off an API request. Even though it's going to fail, we could kind of beef that out a little bit. Because no one wants to watch me like cater markdown files. So let's just kind of like build the guts of it, and then I'll go in and fill in the blanks since I know how Shift should be run. So, hey Jeffrey, how's it going? Thanks for joining the impromptu stream. Okay, so I am on confidentlaravel.com. I know that this is outdated. If we run, this is probably like 12 or even 11. 12, okay, so not crazy outdated. But not 13 is the point. That's the point, not 13. So let's get into Claude. I don't know if I've ever used Claude in this particular Yes, I trust it. Yeah, so I have not. Okay, cool. What's new? Oh, it upgraded Claude. Okay, Claude upgraded itself. Great. Okay, so let's do this. I want to build a skill that I may reuse. Yeah, reuse in other projects. But for now, I'm testing it out locally within this project. This skill named Shift Analyze should review composer.json to gather the major version number of the Laravel framework dependency. If it is less than 13, it should prompt the user to run the next incremental major. This is where I'm gonna have to fill in all the blanks. Like right now I'm just saying like incremental version number stuff, and it can probably figure that out, but I think within the skill, the actual skill file that it makes, I'm probably gonna need to make some kind of table or something that's like, you know, this maps to the Laravel 13 shift and la 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 la. So I should prompt the user to run the next major incremental upgrade using shift through another skill named shift. So I'm just kind of giving it like this super high level architecture here and kind of just gonna see what it does with it. Because we know as a gist, like it's going to make markdown files. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it's gonna read out of Claude. Skills creator, okay, interesting. I'm just kind of reading what it's doing here. Okay, so now I understand. Yeah, do your stuff, bro. I'm not quite at a phase where I'm like, just run dangerously, but I'm also like annoyed sometimes to say yes to everything. Now I understand the skill format. Okay, cool. Let's see what it's got. Oh, I'm hearing some chat. What we got in the chat? Hey, how's it going? You should come up with a skill for your old base code field guide. Yeah, Haz, you didn't miss too much. 10 minutes. I was really just giving an overview of what I'm kind of trying to do here. Now we're just allowing like AI to build the AI. So, yeah, Jeffrey, that's, you know, I was thinking about that the other day when Taylor, it was the other month now probably, when Taylor released, you know, his like internal Laravel stuff. But like, yeah, I think it would totally make sense to do that, and I think I will. That's kind of why I want to get into this, because there's a lot I would want to have a skill for now that I use AI more, and yeah, I think that'd be good. So, okay, let's see here. Let's see what it came up with. Okay, so it wrote 29 lines of code. The Shift Analyze skill is created in Claude Skills Shift Analyze skill.md. Okay, so that makes total sense based on what we kind of learned from Stauffer's plugin. You kind of put things under Claude, under skills, you give it a name, and then it's a skill.markdown file. So that makes total sense. Shift Analyze. So I would expect we're going to have a shift run, a shift review, a shift refactor, all the four things I kind of mentioned in the intro. Okay, so it reads composer.json, it finds Laravel framework. Now again, there's a lot more analysis that I want to do, but I'm just trying to get like a shell of how this would work right now. Okay, strips out any prefixing charts, fine, extract the major version number. If major is greater than or equal to 13, reports the app's already up to date. If less than 13, tells, okay, cool. The project is on, so when triggered, it will propose upgrading. Okay. When you're ready to create, it should accept the major version to handle the actual shift execution. Yes, wonderful. Yes, so let's go ahead and have it do a shift run. And then we'll like clear out our context and see if we can run that skill. Like, so to that point, like, is there a shift? No, there's not. Okay, so how would I run this new skill if I wanted to test it? I didn't see it under the slash stuff. Okay, slash shift analyze. Analyze unknown command. I'm getting unknown command. This is all we do all day now, people. We just ask AI to solve it for us. If you read my newsletter, you know I've kind of got like this general malaise around this, but like, I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. I don't mean to be gripey. It's just funny. We're just like prompting the machine now. Okay, the slash syntax involves slash commands, not skills. Those are different things. Oh. It needs to be an MD file in Claude commands instead. That's a simpler format, just markdown instructions without the formatter metadata. The trade-off is slash commands are always explicit, while skills can trigger automatically from context. For a workflow like this, either could work. Let me know what you... Ooh, okay, so interesting. So we stumbled into something we didn't know here. Cool, this is good. This is good. Huh, okay. Skills are triggered automatically when Claude detects. To test it, just describe what you naturally want. Analyze my layer, or run shift analyze. Claude will load the skills instructions and execute workflow. If you want a slash command, okay. So Claude's kind of, what I'm gathering here is Claude's kind of saying it's up to me, of course, duh. But the trade-off is they're explicit. The trade-off is they are explicit. To me, I would want the shift run command to be explicit. You probably want the shift review command to be explicit because you have to pass it the shift number to review. Now, the analyze and the refactor one are a little bit like open-ended. I think you could run them as a command to prompt, but again, you kind of have to know, whereas the skill, it's claiming that if I went in here and said, hey, is this project up to date? It would maybe bubble up this shift analyze, even if they didn't know they had it, which you're going to install these so you know you have them. So it's like, do I make them all commands because that's what a majority of them are anyway, and I lose maybe a little bit of integration? But like, again, you're going to have to kind of like, it's not like these are just included with Claude for everyone for everywhere. Like, so you kind of have to explicitly know about them anyway. So I don't think it's a big deal to explicitly run them as well. So let's say, make it, do that. Make it a slash command instead. Then we'll add the shift run one. And then, okay, cool. So now that we've, yeah, exactly. I think they'll all be a bit like interdependent as we go. Okay, so now that we've determined a slash command is better, let's add one for shift run. It will accept an argument of the Laravel, let me close the chat, it's in my way, of the Laravel version number. Yes, it will accept an argument of the Laravel version number and use that to pass as the code to the API. Here is a link to to the docs for how to run a shift with curl via the API. All right, let's go grab that and see how it does. I'm kind of just like, I'm playing along here. I'm playing a little bit dumb. I could give it more information, but I don't want to type for 5 minutes on stream. And also just, again, let's see how it does. Yeah, don't ask again, just do it. It'll be all right. So yeah, so again, the analyzer can do a lot more. Like obviously there's more shifts than just the Laravel stuff. We could see if you have tests, we could see if, we could always suggest running something like the fixer and blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm going for breadth today instead of depth. So breadth, it's weird. Okay, created Claude, a few things to run. It expects a Shift API token. You can set this in your shell profile via update config to add it to the project env. It auto detects the GitHub remote and current branch from Git. Beautiful, thank you. Shift analyze will call it with the pre-filled. Okay, yes, let's prompt the user for their Shift API token if yeah, let's have the command prompt the user for their Shift API token if one has not been previously entered. Let's just get a little interactivity here, and then I think what I'll do is I'll clear out this session and I'll go from there. Okay, so now if the Shift API isn't set, okay, so check if the Shift API is set in the environment. Okay, interesting. It's fine, whatever. If it's missing, ask the user to provide their Shift API token. Once provided, use... Are there other options? Like, does Claude have its own internal? Oh, is that like $? Is that exclamation point for the rest of the session? Interesting. If it stored it, is it just for the Claude session or terminal session? I'm curious, like if Claude has some storage. Just for the terminal session, export only sets the variable in the current shell. Yeah, okay, fair. To their shell profile, fine. Does Claude have anywhere it persists these tokens? I wonder if I said do you. I could probably say to you. Yes, Claude settings local exports in env section that Claude loads automatically at the start of every session. It's project level and get ignored by default, making it the right place. Okay. I can update. Yeah, I think for now, let's have it. Because again, this is a Claude skill. I don't have anything else that would use this token. So yes, let's do that. The whole point is you're not running these curl commands yourself. So like, nice. Okay, I'm cool with that. Okay, so theoretically, it's built some stuff now. So while the API is not going to work, what we could do is clear out our session, empty the context. I should be able to say shift, okay, I can't say shift whatever, so let's do that. So I'm going to do Claude now. Or what do we have here? Claude. All right, is there a /shift whatever now? Yes, okay, cool. Let's let it analyze. Okay, so again, I can tweak the wording there. We'll say yes. Okay, so it loads the skill. I check the environment, token, and get remote information at the same time. Okay, what is this saying? It'd be nice if it kind of like prompt contains expansion. Okay. Be nice if it waited for that somehow. It's a little confusing. Yes. Okay, cool. So it's sending that, and it's saying GitHub Jason McCurry confidentlaravel.com / or colon master. So it built the shift connection string, and it's going to call API run, which is legit. My token's not legit, and that code should be fine though. Actually, it did a pretty good job here. Okay, unauthenticated. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so yeah, so here's where it's going to take some like crafting of the markdown file, right? But what we've learned here, let's just get out of here. Let's cat Claude commands shift. Let's just look like shift analyze, for example. Yeah. Super simple. Determine the current, yeah. So again, this is very specific to Laravel 13, but we do see that it works. So the point here is I would basically need to go in and craft the description, the steps, and make it a little more aware of the entire catalog of shifts, right? Not just the upgrade shifts, but then like, oh, your application isn't slimmed, right? You never adopted the new slim structure. Okay, you can run that. Oh, we see that you're still running, Laravel Collective. Okay, you can run that. Oh, you don't have any tests. Run the test generator. Stuff like that. Livewire, same thing. Here's the Livewire shift. So it could really fall back on a hierarchy, starting with the upgrade, then generic, or then probably like things like Livewire, PHP unit, pest, Tailwind. Really just kind of work its way down the catalog, and if it really found nothing, then like start to look at things like the test generator or CI or whatever, right? And if you were just like totally rocking it with your project, which I hope that you are, then it could just pawn it off to like, hey, things are looking great. If you're interested, you can run the /shift refactor command for all sorts of modernizations, right? So that would just be like its complete fallback. But my guess is, again, that if you're going in and you're explicitly running this command, you probably expect it to find something. So yeah, I think, so we've got kind of half the pie built here. Again, I need to spend like hours crafting these markdown files correctly with all the catalog and so forth, and to map all the correct codes. But I mean, Stauffer's kind of already built the review one, and the refactor one should be super easy to build by basically just pointing it at this page and having it then generate something to do that. Now, I would need to open this up to be able to run Workbench builds via the API. It's not a lot of work, but right now it requires you to sign in. But again, the whole point of this, like I said at the beginning, go to where the developers are. If you're in there prompting, and I want Shift to be part of the automation that you still use, because I think it currently at least does a better job than AI, or it offers more, surgical, tactical, curated Laravel stuff, I still got to go to where the developers are. So if you're in prompt land, like, that's where I need to be. So I want to finish building these. I think what I'll do before the next stream is I will make this skill file markdown much more robust. I probably need a way for all users to be able to generate an API key. Right now, I think only subscribers get an API key, but technically speaking, anyone could get an API key. The tricky part is if you don't have a I'll have to think this through, but if you don't have a subscription and you wanted to run this, like, what do I do? Do I kick you to a Stripe page real quick so you pay? Is it like, does Claude prompt you to charge your card that's on file? Like, I don't know. That gets a little interesting. I'll have to figure that part out. Because again, I want to make this like as super accessible as possible, but there's some things to figure out here. So I think for now it can work for subscribers, like right out of the box, nothing to do. So yeah, I'll tweak this before next week, and I think we'll get back into it. But I like the shorter stream. I've always liked the shorter stream. Very focused. I'll make sure to schedule for Wednesday next week a little bit better. But anyway, Haas, Jeffrey, rest of the gang that joined live, thank you. I'll get these refined. I'll figure out how to start sharing them, and we'll go from there.